Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana last week declared a strike over the appointment of Samuel Adumbotwe as a registrar of the Births and Deaths Registry. Well, CLOGSAG says it is going ahead with a strike effective Thursday because it says it has not received any correspondence from the presidency on the reassignment of Samuel Adumbotwe. Presidential spokesperson Felix Kwakye Ofosu says government acted in accordance with law. He says that CLOGSAG has so far not shown any evidence that government did not act within the confines of the law. He says although government is willing to dialogue on the matter, things must follow due process.
That at the very highest levels of government, there has been engagement between CLOGSAG and government. And as I indicated, CLOGSAG says that a certain action should be taken. But government has to act on the basis of law. So we inquired as to what the premise for that demand is. If you are saying that a position should go to a civil servant, show us the basis for that position. They have been unable to show it. I have showed you the law and specific provisions, and you would all agree with me. Even if you have doubts about what I'm reading, you can dig up the law yourselves and read for yourself. Read Section 2 of Act 1027, the Registration of Births and Deaths Act, and satisfy yourself as to who has the authority to make the appointment. And second, whether or not the law says anywhere that the position of the Registrar of the Births and Deaths Registry should be held by a civil servant. These, for me, are the issues at play. And to the extent that government has acted lawfully, regularly, and in accordance with the Constitution, I don't see why there should be an entrenched position on the matter. We certainly have not taken an entrenched position. We cannot act illegally simply because a section of our population, in this instance, Ghanaian workers, demand that we do. I don't think that it is fair to the people of Ghana, whose taxes are used to pay civil servants, those who work in CLOGSAG, just like myself, the president, or everybody else who works within the public and civil service. You cannot take such a position, which is unfair to them, when the facts are very clear, the laws are very, very clear. If it was the case that government was violating the law, then you would have a basis. As I said, I'm aware that they went to court under the previous government. There's yet to be a determination on the matter. So if the matter has not been determined, there's no judicial pronouncement saying that the position of the law is wrong or what the president has done is wrong. I don't see why entrenched positions should be taken. I don't see why a nationwide strike should be declared on a matter like this.
Felix Kwakye has also been reacting to a press conference by the Ghana Journalists Association, claiming that there have been many attacks on journalists under the new administration. Felix Kwakye Ofosu says that this narrative is unfair and misleading. He says President John Mahama is a member of the Ghana Journalists Association and that he'll be the last person to supervise attacks on journalists during his tenure as president.
All of you are aware that President Mahama is an easygoing, down-to-earth, affable individual who relates very well with all manner of people. He is a member of the Ghana Journalists Association in good standing. So essentially, he is one of you. He is a member of the Inky fraternity. And therefore, he will be the last person to supervise a dispensation where journalists are attacked. But the way that the press conference was addressed and the way that the matters were couched created the impression that some journalists had perhaps said or written something that government was unhappy about, and therefore government was carrying out reprisals against them. But that is completely incorrect. It is not true, and nothing of the sort has happened. When I inquired from the Ghana Journalists Association president, he mentioned instances where at a recent Council of State elections, there was some scuffle and some journalists were roughed up. He also spoke about Erasmus when he went there to cover their activities. But these are incidents involving persons who are acting unlawfully. For instance, illegal miners in the first place are breaking the law. So if in an attempt to report the activities, some of them attack a journalist, I'm not sure that you can lay the blame at the doorstep of President Mahama or the government. It is an act of criminality, which should be dealt with in the same manner that if someone attacked me or assaulted me, it should be dealt with. If at the Council of State elections there is a scuffle and some misguided elements rough up journalists, for me it's a pure law and order issue, which should be reported and dealt with by appropriate law enforcement agencies. I do not see how government can be roped in and the president can be said to have survived a situation where 7 journalists are attacked. If you close from work today and on your way, you engage in a dispute in traffic and somebody assaults you, I'm not sure that it would be fair to say that President Mahama is in power and you've been attacked, so he should be held responsible. If it is the case that you have reported that there is some wrongdoing in government, or you've uncovered some unlawful acts by the president or any official in government, and because of that, government has organized its agents or assigns to assault you or harm you in any way, then you can say that the president has to be held liable or government has to be held liable. And in this country, we've seen instances like that, where Ahmed Swali, who was known to have been actively involved in uncovering corruption in football in Ghana, was gunned down in broad daylight. That matter remains outstanding and is yet to be resolved. We've seen instances where Edward Adeti, a reporter for GH1 and Star FM, reported some underhand dealings in the Upper East region, I believe, involving the minister of that region at the time. And for that reason, he had to flee because his life was in danger and he was being threatened by agents, known agents of the state.
He has also been responding to the NPP's claim that it left substantial amount of money in the sinking fund.
So if the NPP officials are saying that we are able to pay these monies because they left money in the sinking fund, it should reflect when you take a cursory look at the statement of account. I have the statement of account before me. It is a voluminous document which shows all transactions that have occurred in the account over a certain period. Now, if you look at the dollar-denominated debt service reserve account, the records will show that the last time under the NPP, when there was a movement in the account, was 22nd October 2024. That was the last time that any money came in or left that account before the NPP left power. Now, if you check the balance in the account as of 22nd October 2024, it was $64,387. $64,387. We are talking about payments within the range of 6 billion Ghana cedis. And you and I know that $64,000 cannot amount to 6 billion Ghana cedis. Indeed, if you did a rough conversion using an exchange rate of 15 cedis, I'm sure you will get something in the region of about 800,000 Ghana cedis or so, if I'm not mistaken, or a little over 1 million Ghana cedis, if my mathematics is right. Now, on 31st January 2025, and everybody knows that on 31st January 2025, it was the NDC government that was in power, not so, an amount of $96,915,182 was lodged in the account by the finance minister. And it is clear where that money came from. It did not come from anything that the NPP had left in that account. In addition to that, another 9 billion Ghana cedis is actually sitting in the fund as we speak to pay for maturing coupons in July and August. If you put it together, that is 15 billion Ghana cedis. Yet the balance when the NPP was sleeping was 155 million Ghana cedis. So how could they possibly say that they were the ones who built the buffer? What kind of buffer is this? If you have obligations amounting to 15 billion Ghana cedis, is the buffer you need for that 155 million Ghana cedis?